even remind you, because we've done this before, like when we finish processing and we have our 3D model, what are our options? Our options is we need to probably upload our model into the cloud to probably be able to share it with our clients or maybe share it with our friends. So that's something we do. I mentioned in this class about Sketchfab. So Sketchfab is one of the service providers to share the 3D model. You, in general, you need to pay for the account. However, you can have a free access given the following condition that your model is maximum of 50 megabyte. And so, that's not too much. So don't ever think that 50 megabyte is too much. I can go all the time for free. I remember my sleeping line or those examples that I upload. When you process them, for sure you will get way more than 50 megabyte file size. There are some tricks on how to reduce the file size by applying some sort of filter and reducing the number of points and number of triangular faces. But again, that's outside my scope. I want to show you here another example. So I'm not going to go through the Sketchfab. If you want to enjoy, you can simply click on these links here. But really, I want to go to the top one. The top one is a very similar to the Sketchfab website. And I'm not sure it always remind me that it's unsafe, but I know that this website is safe. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. And here is the it's a project that somebody is generously sharing with everyone. So the project, there are some data, for example, the total number of photos. Do you see the number? It's 1,560 images, not really like the 47 image that we process in our class. So, and as I said, sometimes in photogrammetry, we get a huge number of photos, especially when you fly low. When you fly low, you get so many images. When you fly high, so every image will cover more area on the ground, and you end up with less images to cover your entire project. So the number is here is 1,560 image. This was captured by Phantom 4, and the data size is 476 megabyte. Okay, and I think they use context capture. That's the software to build the 3D model, and this is the author of this model here. Okay. Anyway, so look at this, please. So this is my model. All you have to do is click on the model, and simply it will take some time until the model is up and running because it's millions and millions of faces and points. And just be patient. You can see my model is coming. Now, some of you, I think, may look at this one and say, okay, that's a video game. Some of you may think that this is a video game, but this is not a video game. This is a survey for one area using drones. And you can take control, you can click. So you can see I stopped the rotation. I can zoom out, I can zoom in, I can simply shift. And so when I do shift, it rotates. If I think control, I can rotate up and down so you can see. Now, really what I want you to pay attention to, look at the amount of details that we're getting. The amount of details is amazing. We can get to a very low details because you can see I can get ground resolution of maybe 5 centimeter, 5 centimeter. And what does it mean? It means I will have a data point almost every 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter. This is something that you cannot do it using total station. If you decide on total station to find a point of XYZ every 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter, I bet you by the time you retire, you're able to cover this area. This will take a lot of time to survey using total station or GPS. Photogrammetry can do that more efficiently, and it gives you a better surface representation. On top of that, you get color information. Look at the color. So here we get all the details of the color information. Can get the bricks, can get all the texture and color information. This is something you don't get with your total station or GPS. In GPS or total station, you only get the XYZ, no color information. Now, while this product is amazing, that's fantastic for sure if you get a resolution of 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter. However, this will also impose a challenge for our processing. Because think about it, huh? I know there's something you don't appreciate because you don't feel it. If I simply rotate or maybe move, what this means for the computer. Anyone have thoughts? When I just click one click, move this way, what does it mean for the computer? Not for you. For you, it's nothing. You're just enjoying. What does it mean for the computer? This means for the computer, it has to do millions and millions of calculation in a matter of fraction of second to deliver for you the new scene from your new location. So that's a lot of work. Exactly like gaming. That's exactly like gaming. In a gaming, you're doing like this and moving around, and the computer will have to do things very quickly to give you the new scene. Anyway, we'll stop here and we'll go to the next thing on our slides. So if I go back to my slides, I simply go to this video here, and this video will take us to the next discussion in drones. Okay, so let's watch the video and then we have a discussion.
So you've got your own business and you're doing everything you can to promote it, but
Okay, so really, why I'm showing you this video is I want you to understand that drones, although those are small little devils, marvelous, like, they provide an amazing cheap platform for our camera to fly and get us images to build our amazing 3D model. However, they have some sort of hazard because simply they fly, they can hit something, they can fall to the ground, they can, because they have battery, they can make a fire, and that's why it's a hazard. And you can see if I take you to the next video, you will know how drone can be dangerous. Okay, so let's stop this video here and I will take you to the next video. This one here, I will ask you for a comment after you finish.
If you work in a team, you've got to try Monday.com. Go to Monday.com and manage all your team's.
This is an insanely close drone footage of an Airbus A380 taking off from Mauritius. The person who filmed the video and flew the drone has been investigated. However, in spite of this airspace violation, it is still incredible to watch. Enjoy!
Okay, so in this video here, someone who just thought himself or herself like cool, and then took the drone, go to this area, fly the drone, waiting for Airbus A380. And if you like aircrafts, Airbus A380, it's a monster, like flying monster. It's a two stories, 4 engines. Like, oh my God, this is a huge. I have been very close to one of those, and it's just a monster. And those, they create like a huge thrust as they fly, and getting very close to the aircraft. This puts I would say a few hundred people live in danger, because simply when you fly your drone very close, maybe it will get sucked into the engine, and maybe the engine will burst, and simply this engine by itself, it's millions of dollars. So so if this happens and we successfully able to safely land them, so you lost millions of dollars. The other thing is maybe there's bad luck, and we have threatened hundreds of lives. So this is, to be honest, to me, this is insane. That's why what happens here a few years ago, I think 2016, I myself heard the Minister of Transportation in Canada say, we're not going to wait until see a big disaster happen. And the Canadian government moved very quickly to put some regulations on flying drones, which we will talk in my class probably in 5 minutes. But before I show you all the regulation that goes with the drone, I have here a very interesting, also another video to show you how people defy drones. Watch this.
For just $67, you can make as many videos as you want, and you never need to pick up a camera or...
The number of drones flying in our skies has increased exponentially over the past few years. While there are many positive uses for these cheap and easy flying marvels, more and more drones are popping up in places where they're just not welcome. The question is how to solve the growing problem, which is now taking center stage in both boardrooms and backyards alike. Various systems are now being developed to stop intrusive drones. After all, just grabbing your shotgun and shooting one down isn't generally safe or legal. As an alternative, here are 4 ways to take down rogue drones. Take aim and take it down. Unwanted or illegal drones, beware. It's the Battle Drone Defender from Battle Corporation, a leader in applied science research, innovation, and manufacturing. Looking like an exotic space rifle straight out of Flash Gordon or the Buck Rogers sci-fi films, this baby means business. When a rogue drone appears, the user can simply aim and fire a concentrated cone of energy that disrupts the drone's remote control signal and GPS reception, thus bringing down the drone. The Battle Drone Defender can defend up to 400 meters of airspace against any unauthorized aerial surveillance. It's lightweight, portable, and believed to be safe. This ingenious piece of electronics may soon become far more widely used. However, the public isn't invited. Until approved for public and regular law enforcement use, it's currently only authorized to be used by specific U.S. government agencies. For more information, just visit battle.org. With drones becoming increasingly more involved in close calls with aircraft, unauthorized flights over military installations, and unwanted surveillance, the need for anti-drone systems is absolute. One promising invention is the Skywall 100 drone defense system from English startup company OpenWorks Engineering. When a rogue drone shows up saying, catch me if you can, Skywall, a 22-pound shoulder-mounted net cannon, can actually do just that. Skywall uses advanced computer-aided visual targeting system that can track and bring down the moving drone from up to 100 yards away. When the system locks on, Skywall fires a capsule containing a huge net and a parachute. Once the drone is captured in the net, the parachute brings the drone down safely and intact. In case of a miss or multiple drones, Skywall can be reloaded and fired in as little as 8 seconds. As of now, OpenWorks is yet to announce the price or release date of Skywall, but you can bet there will be plenty of interest. Find out more at openworksengineering.com. Another company developing drone net capture technology is Tice UAV Solutions with the Exippo anti-drone systems. Exippo doesn't need to wait for the drone to wander into range because it's a drone. Exippo is equipped with an onboard camera and can be guided to intercept, fire a net at the moving drone, and disable its propellers. The net can be fired freely, causing the rogue drone to drop to the earth like a stone. Or the net can also remain tethered to the Exippo, allowing it to carry its opponent back to base for examination. This one-sided high-tech game of tag definitely gives the home team advantage against some not-so-welcome visitors. Since the size of the net can be adjusted, development is also underway to adapt the Exippo for capture of manned aircraft, people, cars, even animals. Anyone thinking rodeo? In its current design, Exippo requires that the pilot fly manually, but Tice says they hope to create a version that can automatically chase and capture the target once it's seen by the pilot on the camera. For more information, visit ticeuav.com. So far, we've seen some crazy yet effective innovations to combat the serious problems of rogue drones. In the Netherlands, however, police are investigating the possibility of using raptors to take down these intruders. No, we're not talking velociraptors like Jurassic Park, but we are talking about what many scientists believe are their descendants, predatory birds, specifically eagles. Leave it to the folks in the land of the Vikings to come up with such a talon-wielding solution. Police and raptor training company Guard From Above are teaming up to see if this can actually be done effectively. These birds of prey are absolutely beautiful when seen up close. But after one look at one of these majestic creatures snatching a drone from the sky, and you'll know it's not their good looks that makes them so successful in the wild. Raptor talons are extremely sharp and strong enough to crush bone. Though the bird's handlers say the eagle's tough legs and claws make it unlikely they'll be injured by the propellers, a trespassing drone may not be so safe. So if you're flying a drone in the Netherlands in a place where, you shouldn't be, as they say in the airline industry, watch out for bird strikes. Well, the battle is on. So as long as people continue to fly their drones where they shouldn't, others will keep devising ways to help stop them. And if those methods that we've shown today are any indication of what's to come, no idea, no matter how strange it may be, is going to be off the table. So drones, beware.
So I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed the videos, but time now to look at the serious matter. So now we'll look into the drone, flying a drone legally in Canada. And I just put this slide to give you kind of summary of what you have to do if you want to fly your drone legally in Canada. So in terms of this, then there is a kind of a 3 classification of your drone depending on the weight, because the weight tells you the size of the drone. And there are some drones, to be honest, they are very tiny. Like you can buy a drone from Walmart probably for $10. It looks like maybe a toonie or loony, very tiny. And this doesn't harm anyone and doesn't have any, it just flies for a few seconds and then drops down. And those we're not concerned about them. So Transport Canada, and remember this name, huh? Transport Canada is the authority in Canada that simply puts all the rules and regulations for drones. Transport Canada. So they simply said anything below 250 grams, 250 grams. This is the magic number. So anything below 250 grams, it's very small, it's tiny. Probably it will harm itself before it harms anyone. And so we say, okay, we're fine. If you have drone, and if you want to fly any drone less than 250 grams, including the battery, then no worries. Don't do anything. No action required. And so what happens quickly, DJI, and DJI is, again, as I said, this is Monster Company, pioneer in drones. They simply created something very smart. They created a drone which was called the DJI Mavic Mini. It's very small drone, 249 grams. 249 grams, including battery. It means 1 gram shy of the limit. And so, which means the open market, because everyone wants right now to buy the Mavic Mini and fly, because there is nobody's going to hunt you. Nobody's going to, call the police for you. You're okay. Now, even later on, they make an improved version, call it Mavic Mini 2. So now we have Mini 2, same weight, 249 grams. I'll tell you also a funny story, like in Japan. In Japan, the rules are different. The rules is the limit is 200. Guess what happens? DJI compacted everything and simply created a drone of 199 grams, including battery, which means you can buy, use it for fun, no license, nothing required. You're totally free to fly it anywhere, anytime you like, without any regulations. Really, our scope will focus on surveying drones, and surveying drones, they are a little bit heavier. So I included here one example, very good drone called the DJI Phantom 4. So Phantom 4, the weight is 1,380 grams. Okay, so about 1.5 kilograms, including battery. And this puts this drone in the range, in the limit between 250 grams all the way to 25 kilograms. All our discussion today will focus on this range. Anything beyond the 25 kilograms, this is a different story. It's a different animal. It's abided by several rules and different rules. And those typically, they are not really for civil application. Those are military, the heavier drones. So let's focus for this range between 250 grams and 25 kilograms. What you need to do is, number one, very important, people, they seem to forget about it. You need to register your drone. So drone registration is a must. You must register the drone, which is not really a big deal. You just have to log into one website. I am providing you the link at the end of my presentation. You log in, you add your data, like your name, your address, your phone number, your information. You also add the drone information, which is, for example, the serial number, the model, and you pay $5 only $5. And simply the website will create for you kind of a tag where you print the tag and stick it to your drone. Okay. In the past, this was not required. Like back in 2015, for example, this was not required. You just have to write your name and your phone number on the drone, and that's enough. Okay. Right now, that's not enough. You must register your drone. And you know what? If you don't register your drone, wait until the end. You will see how much you will pay if you just don't register and pay $5. The penalty is 200 times this $5. It's $1,000 if you don't register your drone. Next is, once you have your drone registered, you need to obtain a basic or advanced license. Now, I know some of you will ask, when should I obtain the basic license and obtain the advanced license? I'm going to remind you, if you drive a car, from car driving perspective, there are many driving license type. There is a class 7 and class 5, and then class, I think class 3, class 1. So there are different kind of classes. We have exactly the same idea. We have here basic and advanced. Now, the basic is super simple. The basic is, it's kind of a knowledge test, where you answer a few questions like true and false on the internet, you pay only $10. So you can see if you are really using your drone in basic mode, and what does it mean basic operation, please wait for 5 minutes and I will tell you what does it mean basic operation. But if you use your drone in basic operation, you need a basic license, and this will cost you $15. So $5 for registration on your drone and $10 for taking an online knowledge test. Advanced license is different. Advanced license, you also have to write an online test, like for the knowledge, and then you need to go to ground school where you do an exam where you fly an actual drone. And then there are many schools like driving schools for drones. Okay. Now, before we show you what does it mean basic operation, now let me mention something that if you use your drone in air controlled airspace, then you need a special authorization for that. You obtain the special authorization by applying application with something called NAV Canada. Now, couple of things to mention. So far you hear two names, Transport Canada and NAV Canada. Those are different authorities. Transport Canada, those, they just put the rules. They add all the rules. While NAV Canada, they control the airspace. Okay, so those are two different authorities. When we fly our drone in air-controlled space, which I will tell you what does it mean shortly, then you also must obtain authorization from NAV Canada. Okay, now let's move on to our next slide, which is, it tells you what does it mean basic operation. So if in order for you to qualify your operation into a basic operation, you must meet three conditions. Three. Number one is you fly in uncontrolled airspace. And here one more time, we talked about controlled airspace, and now we're talking about uncontrolled airspace. Please wait for the next slide to know where are the controlled airspace. So in order for you to qualify your operation to basic operation, number one, uncontrolled airspace. Number two, you need to be away from bystander by 100 feet, which is 30 meters. Okay. Next is number three is you never fly your drone over bystanders. Okay. So here is one kind of vague word. What does it mean bystander? Before we tell you what does it mean bystander, you need to understand the three conditions, all of them on the same time must happen. If all of them they happen on the same time, it means you're performing a basic operation. So it means I need a basic license. But the question is, what if I violate one of these conditions? What if I violate one of these conditions? For example, I'm away from people by 30 meters. I'm not flying my drone above anyone's head, but I'm in controlled airspace. It means I am not performing basic operation anymore. It means I cannot just go with a basic license. I must have advanced license. Remember, the three conditions, all of them, they must happen on the same time. So then you can call your operation as basic operation. Now let's go and see what is a bystander. I'll give you an example. Let's say pandemic is over and we go back to class and I'm teaching my drone class, and then I got my own drone. I'm taking my class, the entire 30 students or 20 students, to outside in SATE. I have all the authorization, everything. I have all the conditions. I'm asking you, my 20 students are bystander or not bystander? If you want to know the answer, just read the statement at the bottom of my slide. A bystander refers to anyone that is not directly associated with the operation. Among others, this excludes the pilot and the crew. So if you are with me and then you are aware of the drone operation, it means you are part of the crew. It means you are not bystander. A bystander is a SATE student who is not in my class, who is passing by, coming from the parking area and passing. This is called the bystander. And that's why when we do a test at SATE, I myself was included or was involved in these tests. We also always, forbid people from going into our test area. We say, okay, no, go this way, don't come this way. Okay, so that's the definition of bystander. Now let's move on to this slide here, and this slide will tell you what does it mean controlled airspace and uncontrolled airspace. Now the question is, why do we need to control the airspace? Any help? Why do we need to control the airspace at some point or some location?
Airplanes, they come into airports on like landing paths and takeoff paths, so they come in low in those areas.
Exactly, sir. So in general, like aircraft, they are really between the cities, they are very high, probably sometimes 40,000 or maybe 30,000 or maybe 29 or 30,000. It depends on, are you flying international or you flying local, or are you flying east or west? This gives you, it dictates the height that you fly. Okay, so if you're flying international, you fly on a 40,000 feet or 39,000 feet. If you fly locally, you fly at 30,000 feet and 29,000 feet, depending on you're flying east, west, or west east. But anyway, as the aeroplane or aircraft approaches the landing, so it has to, climb down. And that's why there's some area we have to make sure it's free. And those are called controlled airspace. And it's a traffic, huh? So there is kind of a traffic signal, and there is someone in charge of controlling this airspace. And obviously you can see it's around airport and heliport. So you can see here on my screen, there is a snapshot for Calgary where it shows you all those red circles. Those circles are simply centered around airport. There are some big circles and some small circles. The big circles, those around airports, and those are 5.6 kilometer radius, while the small ones, it's 1.9 kilometer, and those are heliport. A heliport is designed to simply for landing and takeoff of helicopter, okay? If you want to see the entire Canada, so that's for Calgary. If you want to see the entire Canada, I give you here a link where if you click on this link, simply it will take you to the website from Natural Resource Canada, where simply you can zoom in and you can see Canada-wide, where are those red circles. You can see red deer, you can see, and there are so many small little, runways around Calgary. You can see them, huh? Now, one thing, for example, very interesting, like, for example, look at this. You guys know what this is? This is Rocky View Hospital. If you live in the Southwest, next to Glenmore Reservoir, there is a hospital called Rocky View, and it has a heliport, 1.9 kilometers, so that's called the red zone or air-controlled airspace. For example, if you live in the south of Calgary, let's say Canyon Meadows or maybe Silverado, you can see here we have no red circle, so those are called uncontrolled airspace. Now, let me remind you, let's say pandemic is over, okay, and we have here sometime in the summer, we have a concert here in Canyon Meadows, okay? I'm asking you, if you're making a footage for a concert where you have to fly your drone above people's heads, I'm asking you, do you need a basic license or advanced license? Canyon Meadows, so it's outside, so that's okay, thank you so much. Advanced. So although you are operating outside controlled airspace, but since you are flying close to the people, above people's head, it means you are not doing basic operation anymore, and you are required to have advanced license. Okay. Now I'm asking you here, what if I want to map SAIT? Okay, so let's go to SAIT. So here is SAIT. Okay, if you remember where SAIT is. Okay, so here is SAIT. So I'm asking you, SAIT, is it air-controlled airspace or non-controlled airspace?
That's controlled, I believe.
It's controlled. It's within the red zone, so it's controlled. Now I'm asking you, let's say I have the advanced license. I also went to SAIT and asked them for permission. Can I fly right away, or I'm missing something? Any help? Anyone who caught this from my slide? If I'm trying to map,
you'll need to still contact Transport Canada to get approval.
See, here is the trick, huh? So it's not Transport Canada anymore. I'm gonna go here. You need to contact NAV Canada. So NAV Canada, you want to get RAPS, which is remotely piloted aircraft system authorization. That's from NAV Canada, not Transport Canada. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, now let's switch back to our slides, and we're almost there. So now let's say everything is ready. I need to fly my drone. There are some basic rules that you have to attach and abide to, okay? The main idea here is that to keep yourself and others safe. That's the main rule, okay? Keep yourself and others safe while flying your drone. And this includes few items. Number one, and please pay attention, your drone must be all the time within your visual line of sight. It means I must maintain a line of sight. It means all the time I need to see my drone. Not without a video feed, not without a binocular. You must see it with your eyes. Now, I know this will create a challenge because some of you will say, oh my God, Tahir, wait. It means if I want to map an area like Sate, which has lots of building, if you have lots of building, what's the problem? It means if you are standing somewhere as a pilot, it means a drone is simply scanning Sate. At some point, what happens is you will lose the visual line of sight. Do you agree? Because of the occlusion of the building will occlude the drone. You agree? Are you guys following? I'm asking you
Yes.
if I am trying to map Sate and Sate it has building, and if I'm standing as a pilot somewhere at Sate, for sure at some point the drone will be occluded. It means it's not in my visual line of sight. How can I do that? How can I do that? How can I ensure that my drone all the time is in my visual line of sight? Look at the trick. So you can hire a visual observer, a helper that stands somewhere else, which always in whether it's in your line of sight or in your visual observer line of sight. And remember, there must be a communication between the pilot and the visual observer. You can hire one or two or three, and there is a communication in between them using okie-dokie. So they can, if there is a problem arises, then you can, the visual observer can notify the drone pilot to do something. Okay, now, number two is you need to be below 122 meters, maximum of 400 feet in the air, okay? Even in the software, in the app, you can put a limit on this height. You can tell on the app, never go beyond 400 feet or 122. Now I'll go back to the visual line of sight. So let's say I'm really mapping an area which is simply has no building. So I can see my drone. Drones, by the way, the design, for example, my DJI Phantom 4, the design, it can go to 5 kilometers. So it can travel away from the controller 5 kilometers. I'm asking you, can I fly my drone to the maximum distance specified in the data sheet? Let's say my manufacturer said 5 kilometers. Can I fly my drone 5 kilometers away from me? What do you think?
If you're in Saskatchewan.
No, that's forbidden, by the way. That's against the law because simply it has to be in your visual line of sight. There is another operation. It's a different animal. It's outside your visual line of sight, and you must have a special training for that. So you can fly your drone outside the visual line of sight, but you must have a special training. But I'm asking you, under this set of regulations, you must maintain a visual line of sight. It means even though your drone can fly for 5 kilometers, then it has to be under your visual line of sight. And I will tell you the rule, 500 meters. After 500 meters, no one can see the drone because it becomes very tiny and you cannot see it. And in the app, you can limit the maximum distance from the takeoff point. You can say 400 meters or 500 meters, okay? And if you need to move, that's okay. You can create your project in several sections. Now, away from bystanders, if you are using, operating in basic operation by at least 30 meters, and more importantly, you need to be away from emergency operation like police, fire, forest. All those you have to be away from them. As we said, if you are using basic operation, you have to be away or outside a circle of 5.6 kilometers. That's for airport and 1.9 kilometers for heliport. Outside controlled airspace, and I'm referring to the basic operation. So these conditions are for basic operation. Now, finally, you have to be away from any other drone. So if there is a drone already in the air, you need to be away from this other, drones. Okay. Now, guys, let's talk about the bad things, which is the penalty. So if you have non-compliance, you're doing one of the mistakes, whether you have no pilot certificate, whether you have unregistered drone, look at the numbers. The numbers are crazy. It means if I don't register my drone and I mark it with the tag, then I get $1,000. Okay? That's for individuals. So I'm asking you, what if I work for a surveying company and the drone is not registered? How much do I pay? I pay $5,000, or the company would pay $5,000. Okay. Now, finally, you guys can enjoy reading the number. It's kind of a massive number if you don't abide to the rule, because simply it can put people's life in danger. Last thing is, there is a recommendation for buying a liability insurance. Okay, it's just a recommendation. 2 years ago, it was enforced. You must have $1 million third-party liability insurance. And right now, it is just a recommendation. For sure, everyone will buy insurance. Now, insurance company, they know what does it mean, drone insurance, and they can sell you some drone insurance. Now, my last slide here, this slide is very important because simply it gives you all the website that you need to use if you want to be a drone pilot, including how you register your drone, how you go through the exam. So those are very useful if you want to be a drone pilot. I'm sorry, I am almost there. I finished already what I want to say, and then probably there is 1 or 2 minutes for questions if you have any. Please let me know.
Is night operations allowed?
Night operations, they fall under special flight, which under this set of rules, you're not allowed. You must have a visual line of sight. You cannot fly in a foggy day or even at night time. You can do that only if you have the training for non-visual line of sight training. And that's a special training. It's not available anywhere in Canada. You have to travel, I think, to the States or to the south of the border. There is few companies and there is one area they give you the training. So it's kind of very complicated, and because not everyone needs that. Why someone will need to fly a drone at night while you cannot do photogrammetry at night? It's dark and you cannot get photos, correct? So this is very special. I'm not going to go into it.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other question, guys? Any other question? If you have no question, so thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week on Monday. Have a wonderful day.
Have a good weekend.
You too, sir.
Was well thought. Thank you.
Thank you.